everyone, Jacqueline here. I'm in Saskatchewan, Zone 3B, Canada. Today I want to share with you the project I would like to do is I want to propagate some hydrangeas. And in particular, I'm going to pick on the Annabelle Hydrangeas. So if you want to join me in this adventure and you want to propagate some hydrangeas, we're going to do it the easiest way possible that anybody could do and keep it very simple. One thing a lot of YouTubers don't tell you is when you have a garden full of plants, getting that ideal shot to shoot a video for when you're doing a project sometimes is a huge challenge. But we're going to do it today, and this bed is really crowded. I have lilies that are wanting to steal the show, so I'm going to move the camera one more time here, and I'm going to share with you the moving of the camera. Otherwise, I normally would edit it out, how I try to get my angle in my shots. There we go. And I'm going to show you that so you can see how much of a challenge and how much lifting I have to do amongst plants. And we're going to go in here and we're going to start with this one. And I'm going to go deep into the plant here and take a cutting. Now, you can see here, I'm going to cut it up to this node right there. So you want to take your cuts near. So I'm going to cut it up to this node right here. Just for example purposes, you want to take off all the lower leaves, and then you want to cut off the top because you don't want it going to flower. You want the energy to go to the roots. So now we have a nice clean stem, and I'm just going to put it in the water, and I'll show you them in the water after. We're going to take another cutting here, and this is going to be a longer one. You're going to see right here, this is a longer cutting. This is at least 10 inches, and I'm going to cut it up to the first node right there. Take that off, and then I'm going to pull the leaves off. We're just going to leave one set at the top, and then we take this stem off here. So you can see better there. So you can see how long that stem is. Let's take a few more. I'm going to pick something a little bit taller. Now you don't want to go too woody, but these are pretty pliable, so that's not too bad. And we'll go right here. Once again, same thing. Alright, I finally found some place with some shade to do the rest of this project. So I picked a spot on the deck where it was a little bit cooler and we have a little bit of a breeze, and I brought my friend with me, Matilda. There she is. And she's just out here enjoying the weather on the deck. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to fill these jars. Now these are just coffee jars that I've been collecting for projects like this for starting plants because they're absolutely perfect. They're clear glass, they're a nice height, they're not too short, not too tall, and they'll hold an adequate amount of water. So we're just going to fill some water in here in each one, and I'm going to fill it, probably halfway up, maybe a little bit less. This is the first day that we've had that we haven't had rain so far. It's just amazing. But is it humid? So I am a little hot and a little sweaty for this video, but that's okay. Here are the hydrangea cuttings that we took. We have approximately, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not bad. We have them all trimmed down here at the nodes where the buds are for the leaves on all of them. This was the first one I cut. It was the shortest, but we're going to use it. It'll work in these jars, I think, just fine. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give them a quick second little trim here with my pruners, just to make sure that we've got not too much room. Like this one has a little too much there. So we're just going to take off that end. And these ones are okay. This one could use a little more off. And I did sterilize my pruners again with alcohol. And then this is the thickest one that I took here. So we're going to see how it does. And we've got some nice nodes down there. So I'm going to leave that. And let's just check these other ones here. Yep, that one's okay. I'm not going to take any more off that. And then this one could have a little bit taken off of it right there. Perfect. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put them in the jars of water that I have here. So we're just going to stick them in, and I'm just going to scatter them amongst the jars. And we need to add some more water. And I got wet. I mean, that could be a blooper for the video, but I'm just going to share it. I mean, this is life of gardening. I mean, stuff happens. Let's face it. So I got a little shower. It's hot out. Not a problem. I will dry off. So we're going to finish sticking these in the jars, and hopefully I don't knock anything else over. There we go. They're all in there. Now, you see a lot of people will take these hydrangeas and they will cut the leaves in half to ensure that they get enough moisture and it's not going to the leaves. I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's necessary to do this when you're propagating hydrangeas, because they're going to be in the house, they're going to be in my kitchen window where I can monitor them. So they're not going to get a chance to dry out. And I mean, I'm putting ample water in the jars so that they don't dry out. So I think that is key to save yourself some work. Now, this is absolutely the easiest method of propagating hydrangeas, or any plant for that matter. It takes a matter of seconds. You have water handy, you have jars handy, and you have everything at your disposal. Most places have a window in them. I mean, for emergency purposes, you have to have a window. So it doesn't matter if you're in an apartment or if you're in a small garden or a big lot or even a farm. You will have a window that you can put them in. As long as you use clear glass, the roots will absorb the light into that node at the bottom, and they will start developing some beautiful white roots. Now, on average, this will take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. We could try to speed up the process and mix up a solution of rooting hormone, but I'm going to let nature do the work this time and see how long it actually takes. Now, for those of you in zones that are warmer than mine, because I'm zone 3B or 4, if you look at the new zones that I don't agree with. Anyhow, you have more time to get these in the ground and let them root in and settle in. I have a short season, so that's why I need to propagate now and take the cuttings, get them rooted, and get them in as soon as I can. So as soon as these develop roots that are about an inch long, they're going to go in the ground, maybe even a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to monitor them. Now, if we have a cold night, I will protect them because they are starter plants and I want to give them a good chance of life. So I do have some clear plastic cones that have an opening at the top that I can put on them in the garden, and they have little stakes that you can put to hold them down, and that will tidy them over for a cold snap if we get one. So I'll be monitoring for that. But by doing these now, you don't have to harden your plants off. They've been hardened off. They've been out in the garden. So that's one myth I want to dispel, because I hear a lot of YouTube gardeners say, hey, you need to harden these off. No, you don't. They've been hardened off. They've been out in the garden. Now, I don't have to put these in a window in the house. I can put them out on the deck in a sunny spot, not too hot. You want sunshade for them, and they can also grow there. They're still hardened off. So there's no need to harden these off at this point in time. You do need to be careful of sun scald if you do want to start them outside in jars or in a bucket of water, because it can get really hot and you can burn them. But other than that, there's no big deal with hardening off at this point. So I want to dispel that myth. That's not true. If I was starting these in the winter and then going to bring them out in the spring like we do with our seedlings, then yeah, I would need to harden them off. Definitely. But these are ready to go. They just need a few weeks to root. And if you're really concerned about hardening off, you can start them inside. You can take them outside for a few hours every day and extend that time and harden them off that way if you think you so need to harden off your plants. But I'm not going to do that. I don't agree with that. That's just me. We'll see if I'm wrong, but I doubt it. Anyhow, the ones I did last time, I did it with rooting hormone and I did it with a soil mixture. I think I put vermiculite in that mixture too. I'll put up a bit of footage in this video to show you kind of what I did, and it worked and they rooted. And I did cuttings that were about this big. They weren't very big. I should have did longer, but it was my first attempt. It was successful and they did root. My problem is that I did not monitor them out in the garden. Big mistake. I should have kept an eye on them because they were so small. In fact, I'm probably guilty of digging some of them up when I cultivated the garden area, not noticing them because they were so small. And I know they were rooted. And in some areas, because of the freeze and thaw and the weather that we have, I lost some too. But that's just the way it goes. If I would have started them earlier last year, they would have been better. So I think my timing's much better this year to get them out. Because I think I put those out late September, October. It was too late. So this is a gardening journey. So now that these are all ready to go, all they have to do is go into my window or go into a spot on my deck where they're somewhat protected from full sun and monitor the water levels and enjoy watching them develop roots. So that's the end of this video. I wanted to keep this as simple as possible for rooting hydrangeas. There's no need to complicate things. I like simple things to do. I like everybody else. I'm busy. I have a job and life goes on. I have family, friends, things happen. And I just don't have time for complicated methods. So I think this is the easiest method. And I'm not concerned about success on this one because I know it will work. So anyhow, in addition to this video on propagating hydrangeas, I am going to add another bit of video footage on for you today. I went out and was mulling around. We went to some vintage shops and I found a really good section of garden books out there. And I did a video on it, what's available, and I found a couple that I purchased. So I was really happy. So I'm adding that footage to you. If you're looking for gardening books, some of these old books, these old hard cover books are fabulous. They have the information we need. There's some that had really good sections on propagation of all kinds of plants, including hydrangeas. Other ones were all about annuals, perennials, shrubs, lasagna planting, all these different things. And so I grabbed a couple books that were of interest to me that I'm going to read through and enjoy. And I do keep a few gardening books I collect at garage sales and stuff. This was a secondhand vintage shop where I found these. $6.99, you can't go wrong for books. And I got a beautiful wicker basket out of it too. So I'll include that footage to show you what you can find there. Why spend 50, $100 on a hardcover book off of Amazon unless it's something you really desire? That is pricey when you can find some really good vintage gardening books at your local vintage salvage secondhand stores. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you in the next one. Bye everybody. Maddie says bye. So a little bit different kind of video I want to share with you today. I am looking at gardening books and I'm checking used bookstores, and they are the best place to get gardening books because some of the older generation gardening books have the best tips and tricks in them for gardening. For instance, free flower arranging. Why pay an arm and leg on Amazon when you can get a book like this for $7.99? That would be my first tip. Here we got another one, gardening collection, full of tips and tricks for the garden, and I'll show you what's in it just so you get an idea. So if we open the book, you can see it's got all sorts of contents in it. This is a really nice book. It's got all sorts of details on how to prune, repotting and hydroculture. These kind of books are worth the money. This is $6.99, and these are Canadian prices. So here we have a whole bunch of gardening books and decorating books. Definitely the place to come. We have Gardening Made Easy. We have all sorts of deck ideas, projects. We go through here, we can see tulips. The complete guide to selecting and growing tulips. Now the selection may be older, but the tips and tricks in here are beneficial. And it's these kind of books at these stores where you get the best tips. I actually have this book at home, The Perennial Garden, and I wouldn't part with it. It has so much good information in it. I have a few older books, hardcovers, and they are really good. You can't beat them. Here's another good one. This is Better Homes and Gardens. They always put out a really good book. And this is Nature's Garden. And if we look at it, it's $6.99 for the price. And just to give you a sample of the inside here. See if I can find a place where I can put this to show you. I'll put it on this shelf here. You can see here what kind of detail we're getting in here. Lots of pictures, lots of ideas, lots of inspiration for ponds, arbors, how to decorate your deck, alpine, paths, you name it. It's a pretty good book, hardcover for $6.99. Let's go over here and look some more and see what else they got, because I'm just going through these now. Here we have one, Woody Ornamentals for the Prairies. Extremely handy. Here we have a bunch of smaller books here. These are $7.99 Marjorie Harris Favorite Annuals for the garden. Once again, they won't be proven winners plants, but there'll be a lot of good information in here. We have favorite shade plants for a Canadian garden. Oops. Sorry, trying to do this one-handed. And you can see there what we got. And flowering shrubs and a prairie water garden. So really good ideas here. Let's see what else we have here. Since I'm in the area, I might as well go through these a bit more. Annuals for the Prairies. Kitchen Handbook. Knitter's Handbook. Okay, that's not right. Here's the Green Tapestry. Another beautiful hardcover book by Beth Chatto. Really nice condition here. Grasses, different annuals. This is about principles of planting, the influence of climate on gardening, the nursery. So this is a really good option for you if you collect books or if you're looking for more gardening books. Here's more step-by-step annuals, Better Homes and Gardens, and Low Maintenance Gardens. You hear so much about lasagna gardening. I actually found a book on it. And it's award-winning from the Garden Writers Association of America. New layering system, a bountiful garden, no digging, no tilling, no weeding, no kidding. And it's $6.99, and a bit about the author. This is by Patricia Lanza. I mean, you can stock up on your books so easily. Now, Debbie Travis used to be a renowned designer. Well, she still is. But here's a book. You don't see her books too often. I think she was more Canadian than American. Here's a 3 Season of Blooms. Houseplant Survival Guide, how to keep your houseplants healthy. Hydrangea on the cover. This is William Davidson. Here's a really good one, Practical Gardener's Encyclopedia. Ideas for creating beautiful plants, step-by-step diagrams. Hardcover again. Talks about mulching, propagating garlic, making a bucket of compost tea, you name it. This has all the tips you need in it for various aspects of the garden. Once again, $6.99. So you can see here where I'm going with this. Really good selection. Now we get down here and we get Carefree Plants, Prairie Phoenix, more about lilies. We have more over here. Bulbs, how to select and grow your bulbs. Easy outdoor living, creating with concrete, which is kind of a cool book. $6.99. They're all pretty much $6.99. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer, like doing interesting projects, this might be the book for you. If I can get it open. Talks about the concrete basics, doing molds, tools. Great option. More hints and tips. What do we have down here? Fences and gates. Wiring. Oh, that's home repair. We don't need that one. Upholstery. So if you want to upholster something for your she shed, got some upholstery books here for tips and tricks. Around the yard essentials. Vegetables. Oh, cooking book. Trying to find a place for it. Real simple organizing the home. A guide to gardening in Canada. Nice, beautiful Reader's Digest one here. And greenhouse gardening. So you can see, a wide variety of books, great selection. If that isn't enough for you, then you can go into decorating and cooking. It's all here, all together. So check this out. I am at Value Village in Regina, and this is where I'm finding all these books. You know, if you go to the secondhand stores and check back every so often, sometimes you find something that you've been looking for a really long time. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful for anybody collecting gardening books or looking for some tips and tricks. Check out your secondhand stores. Bye, everybody.